There are three dark forces that shape every man, and the tragedy is, most of them will never realize which one commands their soul. They wake up each morning believing they're in control, making choices, chasing goals, fighting for success, but underneath every decision, a shadow whispers. It's not random, it's not innocent. It's instinct in its purest form, ancient, powerful, and merciless. These three forces don't care about your dreams or your morals. They care about dominance, survival, and control. And if you don't know which one rules you, then you're already being ruled. The world tells men to be kind, to be moral, to be safe, but history doesn't remember the safe. It remembers the ones who embraced the darkness within them and learned to command it instead of pretending it wasn't there. Most people spend their lives performing goodness while secretly serving their shadow. They call it ambition, confidence, discipline. But if you strip the words down to the bone, what you find is hunger. The hunger to be seen, the hunger to control, the hunger to conquer. And that hunger has three faces. The narcissist, who craves admiration and builds his kingdom on mirrors. The Machiavellian, who plays the long game and builds his empire from the shadows. And the psychopath, who feels nothing and fears nothing because he's already killed what could be hurt inside him. These are not villains in a story. They are archetypes, psychological blueprints that exist in every human being. They are not born evil, they are born adaptive. And depending on which one dominates you, your version of strength will look very different. The narcissist seeks to be adored. He feeds on applause. The Machiavellian seeks to control. He feeds on leverage. The psychopath seeks to dominate. He feeds on power itself. But here's the secret most will never understand. Each of these types is a reaction to pain. Each was born the moment innocence was lost, when admiration, trust, or love failed to protect them. And in the ruins of that betrayal, a darker self emerged, one that swore never to be weak again. That's why you can't just judge them, because at some level they live inside you too. When someone ignores you, when someone disrespects you, when someone threatens what you've built, what rises inside you isn't reason, it's shadow. And in that split second, you can feel it. The narcissist wants to prove his worth. The Machiavellian wants to calculate revenge. And the psychopath just wants to destroy. Most men repress this truth because it terrifies them. They tell themselves, I'm a good person. But goodness without awareness is blindness, and blindness is exactly how darkness wins. Because the man who can't see his shadow becomes its puppet. He thinks he's acting from strength, but he's reacting from fear. He thinks he's chasing purpose, but he's chasing validation. He thinks he's being disciplined, but he's just addicted to control. The few who awaken, the rare men who dare to look at the darkness directly, they learn something different. The goal is not to suppress the shadow. The goal is to master it, to see the narcissist and starve its weakness, to use the Machiavellian strategy without losing empathy, to touch the psychopath's fearlessness without losing humanity. Because when you can control all three, you become dangerous, not reckless, not cruel, but sovereign. You stop reacting to the world and start shaping it. You stop being ruled by emotion and start commanding it. You stop chasing admiration and start commanding respect. But that mastery begins with honesty. You must be willing to ask, which one am I serving right now? Is my ambition really growth, or just a desperate need to be seen? Am I being strategic, or am I just afraid to trust? Am I being calm, or am I just numb? Answer that truthfully, and you'll see your whole life differently. Because every choice you've made, every love, every betrayal, every victory was guided by one of these forces. The question isn't whether you have a dark type. The question is whether you know which one is running your life. And to understand that, we start with the first. The one most people secretly serve without even realizing it. The mirror maker, the performer, the man addicted to being adored.
The narcissist. He walks into a room, and before you even notice him, he's already noticed you. Not who you are, but what you think of him. Every glance, every silence, every reaction becomes data, and in that instant, he begins to construct himself around it. The narcissist doesn't enter a room to connect. He enters to be seen. Every conversation is a performance. Every compliment is fuel. Every moment of admiration, a hit of oxygen. But here's the paradox. The narcissist doesn't love himself. He's addicted to the idea of himself reflected back through the eyes of others. He doesn't chase love. He chases mirrors. And the cruelest part? He doesn't even know he's doing it. He'll call it confidence. He'll call it charisma. He'll tell himself he's born to lead, destined for greatness. But beneath every grin, beneath every calculated pose, lives a wound, an ancient, unhealed fear of being unseen. You can recognize him instantly. He's magnetic, articulate, full of stories that orbit around one star, himself. He doesn't interrupt to be rude. He interrupts because he's starving. He needs to feel relevant in every sentence. And when you speak, he listens only long enough to find his reflection in your words. Praise him, and he glows. Ignore him, and he wilts. Challenge him, and you'll watch the mask crack. Because beneath the surface charm lies a fragile empire built entirely on perception. One insult, one rejection, and the whole structure trembles. He doesn't process criticism. He personalizes it. He doesn't reflect. He retaliates. The narcissist's rage is never about justice. It's about shame. You've reminded him that his reflection isn't flawless, and that's something his mind cannot tolerate. That's why the narcissist's greatest fear isn't failure, it's irrelevance. He could lose everything, money, status, even love, and still rebuild, as long as he's seen. But the moment no one's watching, he begins to disappear. He'll fill his life with symbols of importance, luxury, followers, accolades, attention. But the hunger never ends. Because the applause was never meant to fill him. It was meant to distract him from the emptiness he refuses to face. And yet, the narcissist isn't always loud. Some are subtle, quiet perfectionists who weaponize humility, who pretend to hate attention while craving it secretly. They'll downplay their achievements, but only to be reassured that they're exceptional. They'll act wounded by flattery, but they're addicted to it. They'll present vulnerability, but only when it makes them more lovable. This is the evolved narcissist, a master of emotional disguise. He's learned that raw arrogance alienates people, so he replaces it with authenticity. He admits his flaws, but only the kind that make him seem deep. He shares his pain, but only when it earns him admiration for surviving it. He's refined his addiction into art. You'll trust him. You'll feel seen by him. You'll admire his confidence. But slowly, you'll begin to shrink. You'll doubt yourself, question your worth, measure your success by how often he approves. That's how the narcissist traps you. Not through dominance, but through dependence. He doesn't demand your loyalty. He makes you offer it willingly because he's made you feel like the only one who truly understands him. And when you give him that power, he feeds. Not visibly, not cruelly. He feeds on your admiration, your sympathy, your envy, all disguised as connection. The moment you stop feeding him, the illusion shatters. He'll become distant, cold, dismissive. You'll try to fix it, thinking you did something wrong, but you didn't. You just stopped serving his reflection.
The narcissist doesn't love people. He loves the version of himself that people reflect. The moment you stop mirroring admiration, you become disposable. And yet, when you leave him, you'll still ache, because he gave you something no one else could, the feeling of being seen completely. That's his superpower. He sees the details others miss, the insecurities others overlook, the dreams you've hidden even from yourself. He studies them, praises them, amplifies them, until you feel illuminated. Then, he takes that light and turns it into his own. And when he's done, you're left in shadow, wondering what happened. That's the cruelty of the narcissist. Even after the illusion dies, a part of you still longs for it, because being seen by him, even falsely, felt better than being unseen by everyone else. But here's the deeper tragedy. The narcissist lives in that same pain every second of his life. He spends his days creating reflections so others can love the image he's built, all while never meeting the real man beneath it. He's trapped in performance, and the applause he seeks only deepens the cage. Every cheer tells him to keep acting. Every follower reinforces the mask. Every admirer pushes him further from the truth. And when the spotlight finally fades, when no one's watching, when the phone stops lighting up, when the room goes quiet, he faces the one thing he's spent his entire life avoiding: silence. And in that silence, there are no mirrors, no validation, no reflection, only him. And he doesn't know who that is. That's why the narcissist can't stop performing. Because to stop is to die. Not physically, but psychologically. The performance is his heartbeat. But a few of them evolve, not beyond darkness, but deeper into it. They stop craving admiration and start craving control. They learn that the power isn't in being loved, but in being obeyed. And when that transformation begins, the narcissist becomes something colder, quieter, more deliberate. He stops chasing applause and starts studying people, not to impress them, but to use them. This is the moment the mirror cracks. And from that crack, another figure emerges: the strategist, the silent manipulator, the man who no longer wants to be adored. He wants to own the board.
the Machiavellian. He doesn't chase applause. He doesn't crave attention. He doesn't need to be liked. The Machiavellian man learned long ago that being loved is a liability and being trusted is a trap. He doesn't want to be admired. He wants to be obeyed. Where the narcissist plays for admiration, the Machiavellian plays for position. He studies people like a scientist dissecting a specimen, with cold curiosity, no emotion, no judgment. He watches the way they speak, the way they hesitate, what they reveal without realizing it. He doesn't interrupt, he records. He doesn't react, he calculates. Every conversation is reconnaissance. Every secret shared is a weapon stored. While others talk to connect, he listens to map you. He wants to know your ambition, your shame, your weakness, not to comfort them, but to control them. He's not impulsive, he's patient. The narcissist burns fast and bright. The Machiavellian waits in the dark until the timing is perfect. He understands what most men never grasp. Power isn't seized, it's engineered. This is the man who plays the long game. He doesn't announce his plans, he buries them under layers of harmlessness. He doesn't fight battles he can't win. He changes the battlefield until victory is inevitable. He doesn't argue, he redirects. He doesn't dominate, he positions you to submit willingly. You'll think he trusts you. You'll think you're allies. He'll share just enough of himself to make you comfortable, just enough to seem genuine. But every word he says is crafted, weighted, designed to influence your choices without you realizing it. He doesn't manipulate through emotion like the narcissist. He manipulates through logic, through framing, through subtle persuasion. He builds the environment where resistance feels exhausting and obedience feels natural. You don't fear him because he doesn't show threat. You don't resent him because he makes his control feel like your own idea. That's his genius. You think you're choosing freely, but every choice leads exactly where he wants it to go.
To the Machiavellian, people aren't enemies or friends. They're variables. He doesn't hate because hate is inefficient. He doesn't love because love is unpredictable. He operates on cause and effect. What moves the board? What wins the game? He lives by one law: never reveal what you truly want. The moment people know your desire, they can control you. So he hides it, under smiles, under silence, under stories that lead nowhere. He'll let others underestimate him, even pity him, because invisibility is protection. Where the narcissist feeds on light, the Machiavellian thrives in shadow. He knows that visibility is vulnerability, and the man who cannot be read cannot be attacked. You'll sense something off about him, a calm too steady, a gaze too analytical. He never seems surprised, never seems desperate. Even when chaos erupts, he remains composed, because he saw it coming. He's not lucky, he's prepared. He predicted your move 3 steps ago. And when he finally acts, it feels sudden, effortless, final. Because the Machiavellian never plays unless he's already won. This is what makes him dangerous. You can't catch him reacting emotionally. He doesn't beg, he doesn't rage, he doesn't panic. He waits, adjusts, adapts. And when you betray him, he won't confront you. He'll erase you. Not loudly, not vindictively, just quietly. One decision, one rumor, one subtle shift of influence, and your position begins to crumble. You won't even realize he's behind it. He'll still smile at you, still shake your hand, even console you. But by the time you notice the pattern, it's too late. He already owns half the board, and you were the one who handed him the pieces. Yet for all his power, the Machiavellian carries a different curse. He trusts no one, not even himself. Because the more you treat people as tools, the more you believe everyone else does the same. And so he lives surrounded by allies he suspects, partners he watches, lovers he tests. His paranoia keeps him sharp, but it also keeps him alone. That's the hidden cost of his mastery. He can control everyone, but connect with no one. He wins every argument, but loses the meaning of victory. He sees through every deception, but starts doubting sincerity even when it's real. To him, vulnerability isn't intimacy, it's exposure. Love isn't safety, it's leverage. Every relationship becomes a transaction, every interaction a potential move. And eventually, even when no one's plotting against him, he still acts like they are because he's forgotten how to play the game. That's the Machiavellian's tragedy. He confuses strategy with strength. He believes awareness equals control, but it only deepens his isolation. He becomes addicted to calculation, unable to rest, unable to trust, unable to just be. He's mastered manipulation, but lost meaning. He can make anyone move, but no one moves him. His victories feel hollow because every win costs him another piece of humanity. And yet society rewards him. He becomes the advisor behind the throne, the negotiator no one can outwit, the leader who never loses composure. People call him brilliant, decisive, powerful. They don't see the sleepless mind underneath, constantly analyzing, constantly planning, never stopping. And when you ask him why he plays this way, why he keeps pulling strings, why he can't trust, he'll tell you the truth with a straight face. Because if I stop, I lose. But eventually, every strategist faces a question he can't outthink. What is all this control for? Because power without purpose becomes poison. And when the Machiavellian starts to feel that emptiness, when even victory doesn't satisfy him anymore, something begins to shift. The patience turns to boredom. The detachment turns to cruelty. The calculation turns to chaos. And in that transformation, something darker is born. No more masks, no more hesitation, no more strategy. Just pure will, stripped of empathy, stripped of fear, stripped of consequence. The Machiavellian becomes the next evolution of the dark triad. The one who doesn't wait, doesn't plan, doesn't care. The one who moves without conscience, acts without hesitation, and destroys without remorse. He doesn't feel guilt, he doesn't feel fear, and he doesn't need a reason.
Where the narcissist craves validation and the Machiavellian seeks control, the psychopath desires only one thing: freedom. Total, unrestrained freedom from the limits that bind everyone else. He doesn't want your approval. He doesn't need your trust. He wants to move through the world untouched, by emotion, by conscience, by consequence. To understand the psychopath, you have to strip away everything society teaches you about humanity. Empathy, morality, compassion, these are the rules of the herd.
The psychopath isn't part of the herd. He watches it, studies it, mimics it when necessary, but he doesn't belong to it. He's the wolf dressed as a man. Not always violent, not always cruel, but always awake and always dangerous. People imagine psychopaths as killers or criminals, but most never spill blood. Many sit in boardrooms, lead companies, command armies, or wear expensive suits and calm smiles. Their power doesn't come from chaos. It comes from their ability to act without the emotional hesitation that paralyzes everyone else. Fear doesn't control them. Guilt doesn't slow them. Remorse doesn't haunt them. While others second-guess, they strike. While others doubt, they decide. While others hesitate, they win. To them, emotion is inefficiency. Empathy is leverage waiting to be used against you. And morality is a story people tell themselves to feel less powerless. This is what makes the psychopath the apex of the dark triad. He's pure instinct, pure clarity, pure intent. When he wants something, he moves toward it like a weapon guided by logic alone. There's no overthinking, no insecurity, no hesitation, only execution. You can't guilt him. You can't manipulate him with emotion, because he doesn't feel in the same spectrum as you. He understands emotion intellectually, like a colorblind man who knows red exists but has never seen it. He can imitate empathy, charm, kindness, even love. But it's all mimicry, a performance. He studies people to learn which mask fits which situation and when to take it off. That's why the psychopath is often the most charismatic of all. His confidence feels unshakable, his calm contagious. You'll feel drawn to him as if he radiates certainty in a world full of noise. He'll look you in the eye without flinching, smile without warmth, and make you believe every word he says. Because in that moment, he believes it too, not emotionally, but strategically. Truth to him is a tool. He'll tell it when it serves him. He'll lie when it doesn't. There's no moral conflict because there's no moral framework, only outcomes. And yet, despite his coldness, he's not always malicious. He can be disciplined, focused, even visionary. His lack of emotion gives him an edge in crisis, in combat, in leadership. He doesn't panic, doesn't freeze, doesn't drown in empathy when hard decisions must be made. He does what needs to be done and sleeps soundly after. That's why psychopaths often rise in systems built on competition, because the world rewards results, not conscience. And while the empath hesitates, the psychopath acts, ruthlessly efficient, terrifyingly precise. But there's a void inside him, a quiet, endless emptiness where connection should be. He can simulate affection, replicate intimacy, even mimic love, but he never feels it. Every relationship becomes a study in leverage. Every person becomes a potential utility. And when they've served their purpose, he lets them go without a second thought. Not out of cruelty, but out of absence. There's simply nothing there. That emptiness, that stillness, gives him power, but it also isolates him from meaning. He lives without fear, but also without fulfillment. He conquers, but feels nothing for the empire he builds. He wins, but the victory is hollow, like a hunter killing prey he doesn't need to eat. That's the paradox of the psychopath. He's free from pain, but also free from joy. He's beyond fear, but also beyond love. He's the final form of control and the final loss of humanity. And yet, here's the truth most people won't admit. You envy him. When someone wrongs you, when the world disrespects you, when emotion clouds your judgment, you wish you could be like him, just for a moment. Cold, decisive, untouchable, free from the weight of feeling. That's the seduction of the psychopath, the fantasy of being unbreakable, of never caring too much, never loving too deeply, never bleeding when the world cuts you. But the price of that power is everything that makes life worth living. He doesn't suffer, but he doesn't grow. He doesn't fear, but he doesn't connect. He doesn't break, but he doesn't heal. Because to heal, you must first feel the wound, and he no longer can.
So he drifts through careers, through lovers, through victories, admired, feared, envied, but never known. His life becomes a collection of outcomes, not experiences. He controls every situation, but never belongs in any of them. And one day, even he begins to sense it, the stillness. He looks around and sees a world full of faces, laughter, emotion, and he feels nothing. He realizes he's become everything he wanted, untouchable. And yet it feels like death in slow motion, because when you kill empathy, you don't just lose weakness, you lose warmth, you lose wonder, you lose meaning. The psychopath survives everything except himself. And that's where the dark triad leads when left unchecked. The narcissist becomes addicted to reflection. The Machiavellian becomes addicted to control. The psychopath becomes addicted to nothingness. 3 stages of the same descent, from insecurity to manipulation to emptiness. 3 ways to run from pain until there's nothing left of the person who was once trying to escape it. But there's another path, not away from the darkness, through it. To look at it, name it, and learn from it without letting it rule you. To balance the hunger of the narcissist, the strategy of the Machiavellian, and the clarity of the psychopath, without becoming consumed by any of them. That's the final lesson. The descent isn't the end, it's the beginning of awareness. Because only the man who dares to face his darkness can truly control it. And that brings us to the last stage. Not a type, but a transformation. The awakening. Every man wears a mask. Some polish it with charm, some hide behind intellect, and some weld it in place so tightly that even they forget what lies beneath. But sooner or later, the mask begins to crack, not from failure, but from truth. The narcissist, the Machiavellian, the psychopath, they aren't monsters, they're mirrors. Each one reflects a stage of survival, a way the soul learns to protect itself when the world first teaches it that being open means being hurt. Each is born from a promise made in silence. Never again. Never again will I feel small. Never again will I be outplayed. Never again will I be broken. And so we build walls. We build performance. We build control. Until one day, we wake up strong, successful, even respected, but hollow. Because the same armor that protects you from pain also locks you away from peace. That's the descent. It doesn't happen suddenly.
It's slow, subtle, a drip of distance that becomes an ocean. The narcissist loses himself chasing reflection. The Machiavellian loses trust chasing control. The psychopath loses humanity chasing freedom. And all three end up alone, staring at a life they built but can't feel. But the descent isn't the end. It's the invitation. Every myth, every philosophy, every spiritual tradition hides the same truth. You cannot reach light without first walking through darkness. The man who fears his shadow will always be ruled by it. The man who faces it becomes whole, because buried beneath every dark trait lies a gift, a power, waiting to be reclaimed.
The narcissist's hunger for admiration is really the desire to be seen. But when he turns that gaze inward, he learns self-respect instead of self-obsession. He stops performing for others and starts building for himself. When he no longer needs validation, he becomes magnetic without trying. The Machiavellian's cunning is the shadow form of wisdom. When tempered with empathy, his strategic mind becomes leadership. He learns that control doesn't mean dominance, it means awareness. He stops manipulating people and starts understanding them. He becomes the man who can see the whole board but plays with honor. And the psychopath's fearlessness, that cold detachment from emotion, hides the seed of clarity. When merged with compassion, it becomes mastery. He's not heartless anymore, but centered. He can face crisis without breaking, act without panic, and love without losing himself. Each darkness contains light. Each poison becomes medicine when you understand the dose. That's what it means to awaken, to stop denying the shadow and start integrating it. The world doesn't need more good men pretending they have no darkness. It needs whole men, aware of their power, disciplined in its use, dangerous but under control. Because a man who denies his shadow is weak. He fears his own potential. He hides from conflict, avoids truth, and calls it peace. But a man who has faced the parts of himself that terrify him, the hunger, the rage, the cunning, becomes unstoppable. He doesn't need approval. He doesn't need control. He doesn't need chaos. He simply is. Calm, focused, grounded. He can sit in a storm and not flinch. He can hear lies and not react. He can feel love and not drown. He owns his darkness without being owned by it. That is real strength. Not the loud, performative kind, but the kind that's silent and unshakable. It's not about domination. It's about integration. The warrior who can destroy and chooses not to, that's the one who truly understands power. And that's where the journey ends. Not in light or darkness, but in balance. Not in victory over the shadow, but in alliance with it. Because the shadow isn't your enemy. It's the guardian of your potential. It's the part of you that holds the energy you've rejected, your anger, your ambition, your desire. When you face it, you reclaim your full self. And once you do, no one can manipulate you with shame or fear ever again. You'll still feel the echoes of the three types inside you. When someone ignores you, the narcissist will whisper, "Prove them wrong." When someone betrays you, the Machiavellian will whisper, "Wait and strike later." When someone hurts you, the psychopath will whisper, "Don't feel anything at all." But now, you'll hear them and smile.
because you'll know their voices, their patterns, their motives. You'll listen, but you'll decide. That's the difference between being ruled by the shadow and mastering it. And the men who master it, they move differently. They walk into a room without needing attention. They build empires without losing empathy. They make hard decisions without guilt and love without dependency. They command respect not by demanding it, but by embodying it. They've met their darkness and survived it. They've looked at the monster within and realized it was never a monster, only a wounded child wearing armor. They forgave it, integrated it, and became whole. That's what awakening really is. Not becoming perfect, but becoming complete. And once you reach that state, the world can no longer control you. Not with praise, not with fear, not with guilt. Because you've already seen the worst inside yourself, and it didn't destroy you. It forged you. You are no longer divided between who you are and who you pretend to be. You are one. And that is something the world cannot manipulate because it cannot understand it. The narcissist wants attention. The Machiavellian wants control. The psychopath wants freedom. The awakened man has all three, but none of them own him. He knows when to perform, when to plan, when to act, and when to simply be. He can be ruthless when needed, compassionate when required, and still remain centered. He uses his darkness not to destroy, but to protect what matters. That is mastery. That is sovereignty. And when he finally stands at that place, not above others, but above his former self, he realizes the truth that the dark triad never could. The goal was never to escape the shadow. It was to become the light that can walk beside it. Because only when you know the depths of your own darkness can you carry light strong enough to guide others out of their own. And that's what makes a man truly powerful. Not his charm, not his strategy, not his ruthlessness, but his awareness. The dark triad isn't a curse, it's a map. And for those who dare to follow it to the end, it leads not to madness, but to mastery.